Now, the big bad story um, had to be experienced for me to do, have the motivation to do some research to know what I know today. So, although I may know more about the justice system, I had to experience everything that was bad about it. So, if I can see everything bad about it, um, and find the cause to why it's so bad, knowing the cause and curing the cause of it proves that it's not a just system. So you can basically use their own legal laws to say that you can't make a decision, and you can't make a just decision. Um, a lot of it from my experience. One of the main reasons I'm on a welfare is I lost my mind. Um, I was in a 20-year marriage with 4 children, and the story is, involves family that I'm pretty sure will piss a lot of people off if they actually heard my point of view. What we tend to do is say a lot of bad things about me and think I should put a smile on my face and really, really love it. And I'm saying, if you don't want me to tell my story, then you stop saying the bad things you're saying about me. Maybe the way you are looking at me is coming from within you and not me. I'm the one that's saying, love you all, just stop what you're doing. And I really don't mean to make this really public, but you know what? I can't get anybody to hear me. And just as I know that you're dealing with a problem that somebody's not listening to you. If you're dealing with a problem, chances are there's somebody else involved with it, and somebody else is not um, easily able to communicate with you. You may be having fights. You may have your own family problems, but this will, part of the problems that we deal with within our families is the fact that we no longer know how to solve problems. The divorce rate is going up because we don't know how to solve problems. Um, the whole economic system is falling apart because we don't know how to solve problems. So while we're not solving problems, a lot of kids are getting injured. My experiences involved me watching 4 of my children, you know, live through a hell. And that broke my heart big time. Big bags on my eyes. I've aged in the last 2 years just um, watching um, these patterns repeat each other. And it was like when I broke down, it's like I could see exactly what's happening with everybody. It was like a flash in an instance, like, oh my God, this is why everything is going on. Um, then like I was still in a fight flight. So, being stressed, I looked like I was a total mess 2 years ago when I first got on this welfare system. Um, and I knew this fight flight had to be calmed down because it definitely was giving a negative impression. People just didn't even want to solve problems, and you could be nice as day, but as soon as they don't want to solve a problem, you get it's kind of hard not to get pissed off, especially if it's about paying your rent or um, they are always a major thing that has been going on in my experience, while somebody on the other end just sees 2 seconds of an experience and makes a judgment on it. And yet, from what I've seen from a lot of people that are on this system, a lot of these people are acting perfectly normal. This is normal human behavior. If you lived through the same experiences as the one you're judging, you would be acting exactly the same way. Um, you think, though, there's just no reason to why people are doing things. There's no reason why anybody's getting mad. There's no reason why anybody's crying. But there's always a cause to something, and the causes don't tend to want to face themselves. Now, uh, my story involves leaving, an emotionally abusive man. and my doctor told me that I'd be dead in a couple of years if I didn't leave him. So, and I was seeing some negative things going on with my children as well. So I knew I had to leave and set a better example. But nobody told me that we don't have a justice system, and um, uh, nobody told me abuse actually increases. I would love to go and volunteer and help other women that are dealing with abuse, but part of the problem I have is we can't tell them the truth. I've even phoned some of these organizations and said, hey, I'd love to work, but here's my problem. Can I tell them the truth? And they said, no, if we told the truth, then we wouldn't get our funding. So while we think there's so many good organizations out there, guess what? Police aren't there. There's no justice system out there, and there are no organizations who think that they're out there to help you actually helping you. They're telling you the wish of what we think is out there, but we're not telling the reality of what's actually out there. And this can tend to make you lose your mind a little bit, get you a little angry, start developing behaviors that maybe you don't like. And at the same time, it's kind of injuring. Um, I had gone back to school. I did not want to take my husband for everything he's got. I would be the one that wanted it fair. And actually, I only asked for child support for 1 year while I went to school. And after, if he supported me when I went to school and, everybody could get along, then I should be able to make enough money to support all of my kids by myself. No child support, no spousal support. And we're talking 40-year marriage, 4 children. Well, didn't want me to get an education. So while I went to school, I was living off of $800 a month with 3 children to support. And although I have four, the fourth one was 18 at the time and has moved in with me as well. So off and on, uh, for the majority, it was 3 children. The children under 18 that have been living with me. And at that time, though, at the beginning, the first year when I went to school, somehow I managed to graduate with an 89% in computer programming. And I only had a grade 9 education, and I was 41 at the time. And I had 4 children, and it was a year that the abuse escalated while I experienced no justice system. Nobody was protecting me, and everybody was misunderstanding everybody, and everything was just growing. And all of the financial responsibility of feeding these children was on me. All of the work and keeping my brain together to be able to do something as complicated as computer programming relied on me. Um, Meanwhile, everybody was not the children, but my husband and his new wife. I mean, they wanted me in jail. They wanted the kids to. They were encouraging the kids actually to be abusive towards me. They would tell them lots of stories of what I was doing that weren't true. One of them was a time where, naturally, after living off that little money, you have to cut back. And dropping my kids across Calgary was costing me gas money that I couldn't afford, especially during uh, high traffic hours on a Friday. That would have kept me in traffic for over an hour worth of gas that I couldn't afford. So I had requested him to just come and pick them up. And um, so this particular weekend, I made the request that he come and pick them up because I was completely out of money. I didn't know how I was going to feed anybody that week. And his reply, and my daughter's standing, inches away from me while we're making this plan, come and pick them up over here. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. Let me talk to my daughter. So I passed the phone, and he said, well, your mother doesn't want you visiting with me, and it's too bad. I was going to take you fishing. Now, fishing is something that this girl wanted more than anything, and he would never take her. I'll continue the story.